All right, so the back half of 2026 for ARPGs is loaded with a lot of big titles and a lot of big questions of what is going to release. So I'm going to cover what we do know and what we don't know. So make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more caffeinated hack and slash content. All right, so without a doubt, and this was going to be at the forefront of everything, which you shouldn't be surprised, is Path of Exile 2 is looking to have its 1.0 release sometime this year, before the end of 2026. Now, a lot of speculation on the exact date is going to be either announced or released after ExileCon, which is in November. So there's a lot of speculation that's leaning directly towards there, although we don't have an exact date as of yet. This is actually a very important aspect because there's a lot of transitions that are going to happen with that release. So of course there's going to be a new season, there's going to be the rest of the classes that we haven't seen already, new skills, weapons, combos, all the stuff that you would expect, what they've been working on if you've put any time into the game. Grinding Gears is very, very good about getting their information up and out when they are ready to officially announce it. So one of the most important aspects that I want to highlight about this transition going from early access to 1.0 is the change in the pricing model. So currently, to play Path of Exile 2, you have to spend, I think it's like $40. But moving into 1.0, it's going to be free to play. A complete transition, you'll be able to just log in and play. And honestly, an amazing game, so many hours of depth. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be, you know, like if Half-Life 3 were ever announced. I, for one, am incredibly excited. I think that this is going to be one of the biggest, this is like, in my opinion, one of the biggest convergences that we'll ever have for hack and slash ARPGs, and Path of Exile 1 and 2 have done a fantastic job of not only capturing me, but many different people. It's going to essentially rewrite gaming as we know it, and that's not even me glossing up. The game currently, even now, in early access, incomplete, is still really damn good. So we're expecting new classes, we're expecting new different weapons, the completion of the main story, endgame reset, economy reset, and then into a new season, what you would expect from what Path of Exile 1 has done and going into Path of Exile 2. Again, the big information is that it is coming sometime after ExileCon, which is slated here for November. That's where we could either expect an announce date or just I would lose my mind if they just shadow dropped it some random Tuesday. I had to call out of work. Last, Epoch is another game that I've loved to play as an action RPG. I bought it way back when it first entered into early access, and it has been one of those games that's just always kind of like hung around, and it does a lot of really good things. It's not as technically in depth as you would expect from, say, Path of Exile or 1 or 2. But it does offer a unique spin and a unique take and a lot of really new, unique items that go along with it. So we're expecting a new season to drop. I believe it's called The Rage of the Frostborn, I think is what it is. And that is expected for October 1st of 2026. So there's going to be a new endgame. There's going to be new league mechanics, what you would expect. Again, it's a new season. I believe this is season 5, if I'm not mistaken. We're talking fresh skills, fresh items, new skill functionality, things like that. A whole refresh, a whole lift in that regard, which is good because if we're looking at it in the sense of balancing out a calendar, which is actually really good because then we're going to have a lot of time to go ahead and play that season, enjoy that, do what we need to in preps for Path of Exile when it releases. I don't know about you, I'm going to be playing the hell out of it, trying out all the new stuff. I'm excited. I'm very excited. No Rest for the Wicked is also looking to come out in October with its 1.0 release. Now, personally, I have not played that one. I've heard many good things. I've heard a lot of people saying that I should spend some time into it and actually get involved. I think a good Working Dad review would fit nicely for that game. But for the 1.0 release, they are finishing out the main campaign. And something interesting that it seems like a lot of people are very excited for is the reimagination of their class and progression system. Now, again, this is also me preaching to myself. It's like, Caff, you should probably get in there and try that game. But having said all that, it does look like there's going to be a lot of new update. There's going to be new bosses, new items, new armors, all that different stuff that is coming along with the 1.0 release. And notably, I would like to point out is that currently on early access, you can buy No Rest for the Wicked for $40. Come the 1.0 release, that game is then going to cost $60. So if you are interested, or if you have been interested, it may be a good time for you to purchase the game before that, save yourself an extra $20. It does seem like it is a very well-loved game. It's smaller in comparison to, say, of course, like Path of Exile. That's what we compare a lot of our different games to. But the big aspect right there is that this game is almost like an ARPG hack and slash and then Souls-like, as their descriptors and as what I've seen. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to have to get into this before the 1.0 release, save myself some $20, but experience the game and then be able to get back to you. Looks like there's going to be a big update. That's going to be some fun. And just as a reiteration, there is no official date of when it is going to be released. It is just saying targeted for October 2026. So we'll have to see. Titan Quest 2 is another ARPG. It is, in my mind, a historic ARPG. It was actually one of the first PC games that I ever played outside of Warcraft 2 and 3, honestly. And I love the game. I played the heck out of it. I just love the setting, the scenery. It was a lot of fun. Titan Quest 2 coming into its 1.0 release sometime in the end of 2026. It's ambiguous. We don't have an exact date of when that is going to happen, but we are going to see 6 distinct masteries. We are going to see a skill customization for your hero, as well as multiplayer. So, and not to mention the complete campaign, which all of these aspects, ARPGs are one of my favorite games to play, and just because a lot of them are just very easy to pick up and put down, Titan Quest has a historic value to me. I loved the game when I was a kid. I loved playing Titan Quest 1. I played the heck out of it. It was one of my favorite games. And Titan Quest 2 seems like it has carried on the torch. We'll see for the 1.0 release. Again, we don't have an exact date. We just know it's sometimes towards the end of the year. And of course, I couldn't talk about the current ARPG market without actually mentioning Diablo 4. And say what you want, they're still pumping out content. And we are looking at 2 different seasons that are going to occur between now and then the end of the year. Season 15 and Season 16 looking to finish out before the end of 2026. Season 15 is looking like it is scheduled right after BlizzCon, which again, they're probably going to announce something big. BlizzCon, they really bring everything together and during BlizzCon to announce something big. It's kind of what you would expect. But then they've also talked about a Season 16 that is coming in December of 2026. So it will follow kind of like that seasonal quarterly cadence if you're following along. So you can imagine that they might add some, new aspects, new items, like a seasonal refresh. I don't know what else is coming along with it, but there's at least an update coming. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the games that could potentially come out here by the end of 2026 that fit the ARPG hack and slash market. So the first one being God's Death and Reaper. God's Death and Reaper. I had to say that a couple of times to get myself for it. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. It is a hack and slash ARPG. However, they also put in extraction. So if there's extraction, then you know that it is player versus player as well. So PvPvE type game. Now, this is made by Vulcan Studios. So if you haven't heard of them, they've been around for a while. They have a whole Steam page for this game for you to check out with a couple of gameplay trailers. It is supposed to enter into early access sometime before the end of 2026. We don't have a hard date. We don't know necessarily what's coming, but it does look interesting. Personally, extraction games are hard for me to really sit in with. And the only reason I say that is because losing all my progress after, 15, 20 minute little bout it kind of sucks. And if they're any longer than that, it's like, that's just going to be more stressful. Another upcoming ARPG is Darkhaven. They are expected to enter into early access either in late 2026 or early 2027. This is coming from the earlier developers or some of the earlier developers of Diablo 1 and 2. So you know that it has that old style ARPG isometric vibe to it. Again, I played the heck out of Diablo 2. I played a lot of Lord of Destruction growing up, so this is one that I'm very much keeping an eye on and making sure that if something does come up, I'm gonna let you guys know first and foremost. Again, I'm a very big fan of like the old-fashioned hack and slash, and I'd be curious to see. Yeah, again, this one's on the Steam page that you can go ahead and check out. We're just watching for right now, but again, if something does come up, I'll have it. Now, this is possibly one of the most interesting ARPGs that I'm keeping an eye on. The Dark West is essentially a hack and slash based in the Wild West, which I love. I think from what I've seen thus far, it looks really, really good. It's slated for a early access in sometime in 2026, by the end of 2026. So here in about 4 months. We don't really know too much about what that exact date is, but they plan on having that early access out and then the 1.0 release about a year later. It is an isometric hack and slash, which is really cool, but it looks fun. pistols, you're out in the West and you're like trying to stop a cult, or it's like, I don't know. It just has like a cool vibe just to sit down and play. But we will have to see. We're going to keep an eye out. We're going to keep watching. That's a game that I'm very interested in. So that rounds out basically all the upcoming ARPGs and what we have on the future for market, I should say. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about everything that will be coming out, potentially coming out, that will just make this entire end of 2026 absolutely wild. I am incredibly busy with planning out the games and what I'm doing and what I'm watching, what I'm playing. So if you do want to catch up and see any of the survival games that recently are about to explode, they're all about to explode, you can click this video here and I outline everything. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.